Stop looking at the clock. Seriously, put it away. It is lying to you. You think you know what time is. You think it is this steady, flowing river carrying you from the past into the future. You think the year 2026 is waiting for you, like a destination on a train track. You are wrong. Your intuition about time is not just slightly off. It is a biological hallucination, a trick played on you by your own brain to help you survive in a world that is actually much, much stranger than you can imagine. We hear about the second law of thermodynamics, and we get scared. We hear phrases like the heat death of the universe or the arrow of time, and we think of some dark cosmic force that is dragging us toward decay. We think that the reason your headphones tangle in your pocket, or the reason your coffee gets cold, or the reason you can't unscramble an egg is because there is a law of physics that forbids it. We treat entropy like a policeman, blowing a whistle and saying, "Hey, you can't go back there." But let me tell you the secret that physicists know, the secret that makes the universe make sense. The policeman doesn't exist. There is no force pushing you forward. There is no law that says the egg cannot put itself back together. The universe doesn't hate you. It is just terrible at math. Or rather, it is ruthlessly obedient to the laws of chance. You are not a victim of a physical law. You are a victim of statistics. People love to use metaphors. They say, time is a river. It flows. It has a current. But if time is a river, tell me this, how fast does it flow? 1 second per second. That is meaningless. That is like saying a ruler is 1 ruler long. It is a definition, not a measurement. In the fundamental equations of physics, the deep underlying code of reality, there is no river. If you look at Newton's laws or Maxwell's equations for electricity or even Einstein's relativity, there is no past and no future. The equations work exactly the same way in reverse. If I showed you a video of 2 billiard balls colliding, and then I played it backward, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was real. The physics allows both. So if the fundamental laws don't care about direction, why do we? Why can you remember 2024, but you can't remember 2026? Why does the movie of your life only play one way? Let's do an experiment right now. I want you to visualize something. Close your eyes if you have to. Imagine I have a video of a glass of wine falling off a table. It hits the floor, shatters into 1,000 shards, and red wine splashes everywhere. Now, imagine I play that video in reverse. You see the red puddle suck itself back into the shards. The shards leap off the floor, fusing together perfectly as they fly upward. The wine catches itself inside the glass, and the glass lands gently on the edge of the table. Your brain screams, fake. It feels wrong. It feels impossible. But why? If you zoomed in with a super microscope to the atomic level, what would you see? You would see molecules colliding and bouncing off each other. And here is the kicker. Every single one of those collisions is perfectly obeyed by the laws of physics. If you could precisely reverse the velocity of every single molecule in that puddle and those shards, the glass would reassemble itself. It is not physically impossible. It is just statistically absurd. Your brain is a disorder detector. It knows that there are billions of ways for a glass to be broken, and only one way for it to be whole. You don't see the glass unshatter, not because physics stops it, but because you would have to wait longer than the lifetime of the universe to see it happen by chance. So we need to throw away the word time for a moment. It is too loaded. It is too poetic. Let's talk about something real. Let's talk about arrangements. This is the operational way to look at it. Don't ask, what is time? Ask, how do things look? Imagine I hand you a brand new deck of poker cards. You take it out of the box. It is perfect. Ace of spades, 2 of spades, all the way to the king, then the hearts, then the clubs, then the diamonds. It is pristine. We call this state ordered. But be careful. Order is just a human word. We like it because it looks neat. Nature doesn't care. To the universe, the arrangement ace, 2, 3, is exactly as special as 7, Queen, 4. They are just arrangements. But here is the difference. There is only one way to have the deck perfectly ordered, just one. Now shuffle the deck. Do it once. The order is gone. Maybe the Queen of Hearts is now next to the 2 of Spades. Shuffle it again. It gets messier. Shuffle it 1,000 times. Can you ever shuffle it back to the original order? Theoretically, yes, absolutely. If you keep shuffling forever, eventually, by pure luck, you will hit that perfect sequence again. But practically, you could shuffle until every star in the sky burns out, and you will likely never see that original order again. Why? Not because a force prevents it, but because there are so many more ways to be messed up than to be neat. This is the container fallacy. We tend to think that these changes are happening inside a container called time. We think time is the stage and the cards are the actors. But that is wrong. The shuffling is the time. If the cards never moved, if nothing ever changed its state, there would be no flow of time. The reason things change, the reason the universe evolves, is not because something is pushing it, but because the universe is constantly shuffling, and it is overwhelmingly more likely to stumble into a state of disorder, simply because there are more of them. Let's make this visual. This is the most important image. I want you to burn into your brain. I want you to imagine a map, a gigantic, colossal map. This map represents every single possible arrangement of a deck of 52 cards. How big is this map? Well, the number of combinations is 52 factorial. That is an 8, followed by 67 zeros. That number is so big, it makes your brain hurt. If every atom in the entire Milky Way galaxy was a tiny universe, and each of those universes had its own deck of cards, we still wouldn't have enough atoms to represent all the possibilities. Now, look at this map. In the dead center, there is a tiny, microscopic red dot. That red dot represents the ordered states, the ones where the cards are sorted by suit and number. It is a needle in a haystack, the size of the cosmos. Everything else on the map, the entire rest of the universe, is a vast black ocean of disorder. When you start with a new deck, you are standing on that tiny red dot. Now you shuffle. A shuffle is just a step on the map. You take one random step. Where do you go? You step off the dot. You fall into the black ocean. Now take another step and another. You are wandering deeper and deeper into the black ocean. The reason you don't go back to the red dot isn't because the red dot is repelling you. It is not because the black ocean is magnetic. It is simply because the black ocean is everything. The red dot is effectively nothing. You are a drunk sailor walking randomly on a planet where 99.999999% of the surface is water and only 1 square inch is land. Of course, you are going to drown. That isn't fate. That is just geometry. This explains why you can't unmix coffee and milk. This explains why your headphones not. There is one way for the cable to be straight and billions of ways for it to be tangled. As you walk through your day, shaking your pocket, you are taking random steps on the map of headphone configuration. You are statistically guaranteed to walk into the black ocean of knots. You are fighting a war against numbers, and the numbers always win. But let's push this to the limit. Let's go to the extreme. If I had a machine that could shuffle the cards billions of times a second, and I let it run for 1 trillion years, would it find the red dot? Yes, it would. This is what we call a Poincare recurrence. Given enough time, any system will return to its initial state. If you waited long enough, an amount of time so vast that the current age of the universe would be like a blink of an eye, your shattered glass would reassemble. Your dead body would reassemble. The air in this room would suddenly rush into one corner and suffocate you. These things are possible. They are on the map. But we don't live in that time scale. We live in the short term. We live in the brief moment after the Big Bang where things are still settling down. And in our short human experience, the walk is always away from the dot. Always. This brings us to the biggest question of all, the arrow of time. Why does it feel like time, has a direction. If physics is symmetric, where does the arrow come from? The answer is in the map. The past is simply the direction toward the red dot. The future is the direction toward the black ocean. That is it. That is the entire mystery solved. The universe started in a state of extremely low entropy, a very tight, very special red dot called the Big Bang. Ever since then, the universe has been shuffling, expanding, cooling, breaking. We are surfing the shock wave of disorder that started 13.8 billion years ago. You remember the past because the past was more ordered. It left a trace. When you walk on sand, you leave footprints. That is an increase in entropy. You disturb the sand. The footprints are a record of the past, but you cannot have footprints of the future. The future hasn't happened yet, which in our language means we haven't shuffled into those configurations yet. The asymmetry of time is not a law of physics. It is a condition of our history. We started at a special point, and we are walking away from it. But hold on, it gets even stranger. If you really want to understand the universe, you have to let go of the idea of now. You feel like you are sitting here in the present, and the past is gone, and the future doesn't exist. But Einstein taught us that this is an illusion. If I move past you in a spaceship at close to the speed of light, my definition of now is different from yours. My slice of the universe is tilted. Events that you think are in the future, I might see as in the past. If we accept relativity, we have to accept the block universe. Imagine a loaf of bread. The whole loaf exists at once, but we can only see one slice at a time. We call that slice the present. But the dinosaurs are still there, back on an earlier slice. The year 3000 is already there, on a later slice. The map of the poker cards doesn't change. The path you take, the shuffling, is already drawn on the map. The entire history of the universe, from the Big Bang to the final heat death, is a static, four-dimensional structure. It is a frozen sculpture of geometry. In this view, nothing is really flowing. The flow is in your head. You are like a projector light moving across the film strip of a movie. The movie is already in the can. It is finished. But you, the observer, experience it frame by frame. You feel the suspense. You feel the surprise. But the film strip itself is static. This sounds terrifying to some people. It sounds like you have no free will. If the future is already on the map, why bother? Why get out of bed? Why try to build anything if it is all just going to end up in the black ocean of disorder? But I see it differently. I think this is liberating. It means that your existence is not fleeting. You are not just a blip that disappears. You are a permanent feature of the geometry of the universe. You are a structure in the block. And look at what you are doing. You are a local reversal of entropy. Yes, the universe as a whole is sliding into the black ocean. But you are eating food, taking energy, and using it to build order. You build cells, you build memories, you build cities. You organize the deck, even if just for a moment, in your little corner of the map. You are fighting the entire statistical weight of the cosmos. And for a few decades, you are winning. Life is the ability to stay on the red dot just a little bit longer than you should. The problem we have, the reason this is so hard to grasp, is that we are trying to understand the architecture of reality using a brain that evolved to hunt antelopes on the savannah. We didn't evolve to understand four-dimensional static space-time. We evolved to understand lion coming, run now. We need a linear time to survive. We need to feel the flow. So our brain creates a user interface. It creates a GUI called time to help us navigate the map. But the map is the truth. The flow is the illusion. So, the next time you drop a glass and it shatters, or the next time you can't find your keys, or the next time you feel old because the years are slipping away, don't despair. Don't take it personally. It is just the shuffling of the cards. It is just the needle moving into the haystack. The fact that you are here, a highly ordered, thinking, feeling collection of atoms, able to contemplate this vast black ocean, that is the unlikeliest hand of poker ever dealt. You have already won the lottery just by existing. The deck will keep shuffling. The dot will move into the black. But for this brief, shining moment, you are holding the cards. And that is enough.